Shift our focus now to the state of Bihar, but remember, we've seen the political turmoil there settling for a bit. But what has come to the fore, in fact, is extremely disturbing, because we are given to understand that this was again a group of cow. Turning our attention to these images now that are up on your screens. These are the bravehearts, the martyrs of the encounter that we saw earlier in Shopia, and the sea of supporters there bidding the last goodbye there, the farewell there to the Shopia martyrs there, where two of our army men, remember, lost their lives. The final journey of the martyrs there who lost their lives fighting there for the nation. And earlier, remember, we got you visuals also of, and before we move across, I believe that's a guard of honor. So let's.
आओ तुम
And even as we stay with these visuals, this is the grim reminder of the reality, remember, that literally strikes us on our face. And Major Kamlesh Pandey, along with two soldiers, Sepoy Tanjin Chutin and Kripal Singh, they were wounded. Major Kamlesh and Sepoy Tanjin succumbed to their injuries at the military hospital earlier. These are the final journeys that we are getting to you more glimpses of. A somber moment, but let me also cut across to our contributor here on Republic, Major Gaurav Arya, who's with us on the phone line. And you know, Major, every time we talk over these visuals, it's difficult. It tells us of the kind of challenge that still stares us on our face. And every story like this, Gaurav, again, should make us remember the supreme sacrifice of these men.
No, absolutely. And it is not just the sacrifice that these men make. It is the sacrifice that their families make. And I would like to take this opportunity to remind the nation that, you know, this is the price of our freedom. What you see on our television screens right now is the price the Indian Army pays for the freedom of this nation. And this price is paid almost every single day. These are not new images. We see these images once or twice a week. And they come in because the integrity of the nation has to be protected at whatever the cost. Today, we have a major and a soldier who have given up their lives for the nation. Why? Because they believed in this country, and they believed in it to the extent that their own lives did not matter. And it is very unfortunate. I grieve for the families. I pay my condolences to the families. And apart from the families, also to the Paltans, to the regiments, because they have also lost a family member, and for them it's equally sad. And for the entire nation, I salute them.
Yes, we do that too, Major Gaurav Arya. Thoughts and prayers with the bereaved ones, the families, and also, yes, with the regiment, as you rightly said. For the moment, thank you for speaking to us. And viewers, that's a story we continue to track. Also the fallout, because remember, the other story also that we've tracked this morning is when you have a singer like Mika Singh singing for Hamara Pakistan. That and much more will be ahead.
मोबाइल पीछे
Kumaon district of South Kashmir.
वो कोने पे लगाते हैं जहाँ वो होगी, जहाँ बॉडी रखी जाएगी।
हाँ तुम ही तो
सलामी उधर होगी ना।
हाँ तुम आराम से आराम
चलो
आओ
आप साथ में चलो, कैमरे को पानी के
चलो। अगर काम करते हैं यार, कहीं ट्राइपॉड लगा देते हैं, देखना इसमें स्लिप भी होगा। हाँ रोटी कहाँ रखेंगे? यही लगाते हैं। एक काम करते हैं, थोड़ी देर के लिए कैमरा पर ये लो, पकड़ो इसको।
ट्राइपॉड लगाओगे यहाँ पर?
हाँ
पीछे आते पड़े ना।
यार इधर आ जाओ।
Being recorded there to those who lost their lives. Remember, Major Kamlesh Sepoy Tanjan succumbed to their injuries at the military hospital later. And we've also heard there from the joint team of the Army 62 Rashtriya Rifles, which actually conducted that encounter, the Special Operation Group and the CRPF. They're lauding the efforts of its brave men there who lost their lives. And this, remember, operation conducted at Zaipura village in Shopia, following a tip-off about the presence of terrorists early yesterday morning around 2:30 a.m. The terrorists there were hiding in the area. They fired at the forces. That's where Major Kamlesh Pandey, along with two soldiers, Sepoy Tanjan Chutin and Kripal Singh, they were wounded. And later we do know that Major Kamlesh and Sepoy Tanjan succumbed to their injuries at the base military hospital. And it seems like a sea of supporters there who've come in to bid their final goodbye there to the martyrs there. Major Kamlesh Pandey, the Shopia martyr, along with Sepoy Tanjan there, who succumbed to their injuries. A grim reminder of the kind of challenges, remember, that we do face, but also a proud moment for each one of us, because this is our force. This is the Indian Army there, giving it back to all those who have their nefarious plans as far as terrorism is concerned. And we've seen mindless violence all through the LOC, especially in South Kashmir there. And there we see the army unit there bidding the final goodbye to the martyrs.
कहाँ? आओ आओ। ला भाई ला।
And even as we stay with these images, you see almost everyone there, almost the entire city there, trying to come and pay their last tributes to those who've lost their lives fighting for the nation. And also there, a stark reality that should hit the face of those who believe that we should be even talking to a terror state like Pakistan. Remember, the two army personnel there have been killed. One has been injured during that encounter with militants. This at the Zaipura village in southern Jammu and Kashmir's Shopia district. And the martyrs there are Major Kamlesh Pandey, also Sepoy Tanjan Chutin, and about 2 to 3 militants there were believed to be holed up in the area that was later cordoned off. The army also paid rich tributes to the martyrs. And we heard that statement coming in from the Northern Command of the Indian Army, which said that all ranks salute the supreme sacrifice of our martyrs, and we also offer our deepest condolences to the families. That is the tweet we saw from the handle of the Chinar Corps there. And we do know that, remember, this is an ongoing situation as far as what happens around the LOC and particularly in South Kashmir. We've seen earlier the gun salutes there and all. Now they're paying their last tributes to the martyrs.
याद रखेगा हिंदुस्तान, कमलेश तेरा यह बलिदान, याद रखेगा हिंदुस्तान, कमलेश तेरा यह बलिदान, याद रखेगा हिंदुस्तान, जब तक सूरज चांद रहेगा, कमलेश तेरा नाम रहेगा, जब तक सूरज चांद रहेगा, कमलेश तेरा नाम रहेगा, जब तक सूरज चांद रहेगा, कमलेश तेरा नाम रहेगा, जब तक सूरज चांद रहेगा, कमलेश तेरा नाम रहेगा। भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय। भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद, भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद, भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद, भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद, भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद। मेजर कमलेश पांडे अमर रहे, अमर रहे, मेजर कमलेश पांडे अमर रहे, अमर रहे, मेजर कमलेश पांडे अमर रहे, अमर रहे, मेजर कमलेश पांडे अमर रहे, अमर रहे। भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद, भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद, भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद, भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद, भारतीय सेना जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद।
Bharat Mata ki Jai. Remember an occasion where almost the entire city of Haldwani there seems to have converged to pay their last tributes to Major Kamlesh Pandey, and his mortal remains there being taken for the last rites. He lost his life in the Shopia encounter yesterday, and we also stay with these images, also paying our tributes to Sepoy Tanzin Chultin, who also lost his life fighting for the nation, and also quickly make way for our colleague Zeenat, who's with us on the phone line. Zeenat, a very somber moment, always very difficult images to talk over, and again a grim reminder of the reality and the challenges that our forces face, Zeenat, almost every day at the LOC.
Moment of somber for everybody in the entire country, because these two who lost their lives, they were martyred in one of the Shupian attacks in the Metro Bug area when there was an exchange of fire between the military and security forces, and the three of the army people were injured, and later the one soldier, army personnel, and the major lost their lives in the attack. So floral tributes were paid yesterday also by the CM and the Deputy Chief Minister of the state here in the Srinagar itself. Now today the bodies were flown to Delhi, and from there to their respective homes, native places. Obviously a great loss for the nation, because when we talk to the few of the people in the army, they do said that this major was himself as an example for the others, as well as he was known for the bravery, and he had a will to sacrifice their life. But he also said that they're ready to sacrifice their life as long as the peace in the entire Jammu and Kashmir is concerned.
And you know, Zeenat, you've also reported on a number of occasions like these, and we were also earlier speaking to Major Gaurav Arya, a contributor here on Republic, who says that these are stories that, you know, not just inspire us, but also perhaps set an example. And this is, you know, a time when all our netas also perhaps need to look in the mirror, and someone like a Mehbooba Mufti, Zeenat, who in particular has been advocating talks with the terror state Pakistan. She believes we should be talking to separatists, and, you know, these netas usually do not even have time to come and visit the martyrs' families.
Yes, absolutely. We have been seeing in the past when the netas did not visit the people, particularly the martyrs or their families. But after there was a huge cry in the media, yes, we have been seeing since then that either the CM or the Deputy Chief Minister do pay their visit to the families, to pay their condolences, whether it is a policeman of Jammu and Kashmir police or the army personnel. But yes, a big loss. We have been seeing that the postings, particularly in the JNK, they are always on the tips, because we have been seeing particularly whether it's the South Kashmir or the LOC, these are the two sectors where you have the high infiltration or the encounters. These are the two sectors, particularly the South is known for the encounters that took place day in and out. And when it comes to the LOC, we have been reporting about the infiltration or also the cross ceasefire violation in which these Jawans usually they lose their lives. But yes, obviously the spirit among the army forces are quite up, despite that repeatedly the number of the colleagues have lost their lives. Still, they say that they are ready to sacrifice their lives as long as the peace in the region is concerned.
And you know, Zeenat, what really does their sacrifice then mean for our polity in particular? Because remember, those are the people who still will want to pander to the separatists, to, you know, a rogue state like Pakistan, who will hit out, play politics. Isn't this a time perhaps of a course correction, Zeenat?
See, obviously, when the situation in the Kashmir particularly is not very normal, we have been seeing the valley simmering. Though we have, in a week, we have a quiet day of the normal day once in a week, but that's no normalcy at all. And despite that, we have been seeing these other encounters are taking place, or the soldiers are being killed or being martyred. But despite that, there has been the continuous push from the chief minister and her cabinet colleagues that there should be the separatists who have been involved in, as per the NIA, their involvement have been seen in the inciting the violence in the Kashmir, and now the NIA has come up with a huge list of the Benami property. That is why they are in the Delhi and are also being questioned by the team. But we have been seeing since the NIA raids were conducted in Valley since 2017, 3rd of June, we have been seeing the protests and the stone pelting incidents coming down.
Yes, and you know, Zeenat, very significantly right now,
उधर चलो, उधर आ जाओ, इधर आ जाओ। हेलो, तो एक ही फ्रेम लगा के छोड़ दूं? बारिश हो रही है।
ये थोड़ा पीछे हो जाइए प्लीज, पीछे वाला थोड़ा पीछे हो जाओ, थोड़ा पीछे हो जाओ।
हाँ यार, करना पड़ेगा, क्या करें, थोड़ा हट जाओ।
your screens coming in from Haldwani, where earlier we've seen the final gun salute being accorded now to Major Kamlesh Pandey, who along with Sepoy Tanjin succumbed to their injuries at the military hospital. Remember, these brave men, these brave hearts were fighting terrorists in Shopia in South Kashmir. And we've seen almost the entire city, entire town there converging to pay their last respects to Major Kamlesh Pandey. We saw the Indian tricolour there also flying high. The locals there also chanting slogans of Bharat Mata Ki Jai. They said Pakistan Zindabad, and that is the mood of the nation. That is why we say forces first, no compromise. And these images then perhaps should show the mirror to all those netas, to those who believe that Pakistan is still a stakeholder, the separatists are something that we should be engaging with, and who do not have any time to visit our martyrs' family, to pay the last respects even to these martyrs. Though as Zeenat there, remember, was outlining, we had seen earlier the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Mehbooba Mufti and Dr. Nirmal Singh respectively, also paying their last tributes to Major Kamlesh Pandey and Sepoy Tanjin, who lost their lives in their encounter in Shopia. And remember, these men are not just statistics. These are real stories of heroes, of valor, of courage, and also then reminding us of what we need to do. We need to stand with our forces. We need to respect their supreme sacrifice. And even as we stay with those live images on your screens from Haldwani, and you see the sea of supporters there, people who might not know Major Kamlesh Pandey personally, but today they are all there to salute his supreme sacrifice. Let me also take a moment to get across our colleague Zeenat, who's been reporting from Jammu and Kashmir for us. And Zeenat, you know, we've been talking about what happened in Shopia. Almost every encounter where our, brave men lose their life, because these are not statistics, Zeenat. These are stories of valor, individual courage, and they all do this. Why? Because they believe that we need to fight for our country.
Absolutely, that is the spirit that is present in every Jawan, despite they do see their colleagues lose their lives every now and then, because Jammu and Kashmir has been quiet because of the insurgency for a long time, and particularly we have been seeing for the last 3-4 months, not only the ceasefire violations are going on, but we have been seeing the infiltration, we have been seeing the encounters, and we have been also seeing that many of the armed forces lost their lives while dealing with the militants. But despite that, the soldiers...
याद रखेगा हिंदुस्तान, याद रखेगा हिंदुस्तान, याद रखेगा हिंदुस्तान। मातरम, 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 याद रखेगा हिंदुस्तान। मुर्दाबाद, 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 मुर्दाबाद। जय जय जय।
us to give you a sense of the chants that were being raised there by the locals there post the sacrifice of our brave men, Major Kamlesh Pandey and Sepoy Tanjin there, who lost their lives in the Shopian encounter. Also, my colleague Zeenat continues to stay with us. These are images, Zeenat, that are coming to us from Haldwani. And you know, Zeenat, I'm not sure if you were able to hear that, but there are slogans of Bharat Mata Ki Jai that are being raised, Pakistan Murdabad, and that is a sentiment, you know, of the country. Why are our netas, you know, particularly a lot of them from the valley, why don't they identify with something like that?
See, Dipti, we have been seeing the netas always after the power. When they are in the government, they say the one language, and when in opposition, that is why we say the other. But we have been seeing the spirit that is present in the army that is not dying. Rather, it is going every day. It's going up, despite the army has been getting many casualties for the last couple of days. And when we talk about the netas, you know how the statements, they change. Because when I remember when Dr. Farooq Abdullah was in government last time, he said that Pakistan ko goli maro. And he is the same neta who is pushing for the talks with the separatists or with the Pakistan government. When he says there is no other way than to take the nuclear power on board, because both the countries are the nuclear powers. So he's the same neta who says Pakistan ko goli maro. You don't know the country. Or uske baad Saeed Ali Shah ko Gilani ko band karo, and all other things. And then when we talk about the Mehbooba Mufti, when she was in opposition, she used to talk about that a lot of priorities are being done by the government against the stone pelters. They should be set free. And now we're seeing that the complete reversal of the Mehbooba Mufti government in the state. So you see the politics that they play, they are never on the one page. It all depends on the power, and particularly whether they are in the opposition or they are holding the powers decides their statements.
Yes, and you know, Zeenat rightly put there by you. So this is an occasion where we should tell our netas that you should not be politicizing the army, because the army should not be drawn into your political battles, you know, no matter what the netas might be wanting to do. But this is an army which only fights for the country. It has only one religion, it has only one caste, and that is India.
See, absolutely. When we talk about the army, and their morale always up, and they are always with the one line that terrorist is a terrorist, militant is a militant. Whether he belongs to one religion or the one caste, that doesn't matter. Whosoever picks up the gun, for them, he's a militant who needs to be neutralized so that he does not create any harm to the country. He are there to guard the borders. He are there to save the lives of the people, and to safeguard the borders as well as the lives of the civilians. They are ready to sacrifice their own lives.
And what do our netas do in return? You know, Zeenat, it's always important to juxtapose perhaps these two images. The images of the martyrs, you know, these martyrs when they come back home to distraught families who then ask the government, why are we looking at, you know, images like this again and again? Why don't we give a befitting response? And that is the clamor, you know, which continues to build up. Why? Because you still have a fraction of these netas who for own, narrow political gains, Zeenat, will stoop to perhaps any levels.
See, Giti, we have been seeing last time, if you remember, when there was a lynching episode of the DYSP of the downtown area of JNK. That time also, Mehbooba Mufti, despite being the chief minister of the state, and it was the Jawan of the officer of the Jammu and Kashmir police itself. He himself was a Kashmiri, though she didn't pay visit to the home of the DYSP. Despite that, the deputy chief minister had gone on the very same day, and there were condolences even from the opposition that day. So we have been seeing the game of the politics being played at the time of the death also. Sometimes they say one thing or the other. But yes, despite all this, despite the Jawans, they are well aware what kind of scenario and under what compulsions they are doing their job, they are doing their duties. Despite that, they come forward. They are ready to sacrifice their lives. They are ready to guard the people. They are ready to guard the borders. And we have not seen any Jawan saying that, no, my life will be lost, so I will not take the hold of the operation. So rather, we have been seeing the Jawans most of the time on the forefront, whether we talk about the Shopian encounter or we talk about this Hakripura episode in which Abu Dujana was recently neutralized. Today also itself in the morning, when we received the news that one of the Jawans of the Rashtra Rifles, he was injured in one of these Kanalwal episode in which one of the militants was neutralized during the intervening night.
And you know, Zeenat, we continue to talk about that big picture. I request you to please stay with me, because let's take a moment now to remember Major Kamlesh Pandey. And, you know, this is something that we all need to know, to remember today, because his family, remember, stays at Himmatpur Mohalla in Haldwani. His father, Zeenat, Mohan Chandra Pandey, is an ex-serviceman. The family there hails from Almora district, and he did his primary schooling from his hometown itself. Then he passed his class 12th from Ranikhet. He started his career in the defense services as an airman in 2006. He was a hard-working man, continued with his studies, did his graduation. Then he clears the combined defense services. He becomes a commissioned officer in the army in 2010. Then, Zeenat, he was promoted to the rank of a major just a few months ago. What we are also learning is that the mother there, Shanti Pandey, has been in a state of shock, Zeenat, but she says कि मेरे